So, welcome back, students. So, we have been discussing on the market segmentation, and we discussed the various levels. We discussed all this, and the last one, what we have here is the individual marketing. So, I will show you an example. Say, for example, Mercedes Benz allows you to build your own sedan. Let me have a look at this. Say, if you look at this particular web page of Mercedes Benz, so you yourself can choose, like, no, what is the exterior you have, what is the interior. Say, get into this interior. So I will be able to see, you see a plus and minus here. So you'll be able to choose, say, plus what you want, minus what you want. And it also, like, no, immediately shows up like the pricing options, applying for credit and all those aspects. But there are different aspects in exterior, interior, if you can look at it here. Entertainment and convenience, performance and safety, summary, whatever you will build in will come here. But since I have not done anything now specifically, it is not showing up. See, on performance and safety, it is giving me all these options, whether I need a driver assistance package, I need a parking assistance package, what are the features I want to integrate. It gives me all those details of accessories, and it takes me through the next. So it is basically a website which has been built up, so a customer can decide and, like, no, develop a customized product, exterior, interior, in all these aspects. So this is what is your individual marketing, where the customers actively participate in the design of the product. See, this is also one way of individual marketing. There are also some other aspects, not necessarily it can happen only with the Mercedes-Benz case. Whereas if you take the Dettol soaps advertisements, one what is recently running up is Dettol soaps. I think it was with the sandalwood fragrance or aloe vera fragrance which has come up, which says it has been co-created by moms. Look at the word co-created. Co-created in the sense means it has been created along with the customers based on their requirements. Like, no, the customers were involved in the development of the product, meaning, like, no, understanding the requirements and what it is. So finally, it has been specifically designed for, co-created with moms. The product has come up in the market. So individual markets or customers are served individually. So what happens here is customers starts involving themselves in the design of the product. So manufacturers, when the customers are involved, they also get a product satisfaction process. This is one of the example of Mercedes Benz or Dettol's co-creation, is all one examples of not even co-creation. To some extent only co-creation will come under individual marketing, but these are all areas where individual marketing can pitch upon. Moving further now, so we have been always talking about segmentation, and when we are asked what is segmentation, you are going to divide the entire market into lot of small groups, and we say that each group will have some common characteristics. On what basis you are going to divide the groups? That comes the question. பெரிய market இருக்கு, I'm going to divide the market into small groups, but on what basis you are going to divide the groups? Again, there are so many ways you can do it. So that is called as basis market segmentation, how you are going to define the groups. So one way that can be done is based on consumer responses, which is your behavioral segmentation. The next one is based on consumer personal characteristics, which is your non-behavioral segmentation. So if you look at consumer responses behavioral, mean how the consumers behave, whether they use a particular product or service on occasions, what is the benefits that they gain, what is the user status, what is the usage rate, how frequently they use it, what is the loyalty status, what is the attitude they have, what, so how does the consumer respond from all these aspects will be your behavioral segmentation. But if you take their personal characteristics based on their geographical characteristics, based on their demographic characteristics, if you want to recollect what is demographic characteristics, characteristics of the population, your age, gender, all those aspects come in, right? Marital status. So that is your demographic characteristics. The next one is your socio-economic characteristics, and the last one is your psychographic characteristics. We'll see each one of this quickly. So when I take geographical characteristics, how do they classify as by region, south, west, east, north, S- and again different types of tier 1, tier 2, metro, rural. So many classifications are there specifically mentioned here. So based on the geographic characteristics, some markets has been grouped. I just want to show you a very interesting video. We are talking about so much of market segmentation and maybe a bit connecting to it. How much diversity is our country, and this is why we require a market segmentation.
Well, it's no surprise that our country has a lot to offer in terms of diversity. But did you know of really bizarre yet unique villages in India? At about 200 kilometers from Pune in the Sholapur district is located a village named Shetpal. Here, cobra snakes have a permanent abode in each and every house and they are worshipped daily in every home in this village. Snakes here have no restriction in their movement and none of the 2,600 plus villagers ever harm them. In fact, cobras are even welcomed in every home as a member of the family. Neither the cobras nor the residents live in fear of each other. In the holy village of Shani Shingnapur in Maharashtra, there are homes with no doors at all. Receiving over 40,000 devotees every single day, this village has houses with no doors or locks. They believe that Lord Shani would protect them from any calamity and they sleep off peacefully with open homes each night. Tucked away in the Ahmednagar district of Maharashtra, Hiware Bazaar was struck with poverty and drought some 30 years ago. But in the 1990s, the fate of this village changed, where it transformed into a wealthy village with nearly 60 millionaires, all of whom are farmers. With a per capita income of just rupees 830 per month back in 1995 to over rupees 30,000 today, Hiware Bazaar has 60 millionaires and this village is a quintessential example of a developing nation. The Punsari village is a village of 6,000 in the Sabarkantha district of Gujarat. Every home has toilets, there are two primary schools, a primary health care, street lights, and a drainage system. And that's not all. The entire village is Wi Fi enabled, has CCTV cameras installed at strategic points, and a public address system which covers the entire population with the help of 140 loudspeakers that are installed all over the village. They don't call this the model village for nothing. In the village of Jambur near Gir in the heart of Gujarat, it's quite strange to stumble upon a community that is African in origin but Gujarati in speech and manner. You could easily mistake it for Soweto or Mombasa. These people are believed to have been brought from Africa by the Nawab of Junagadh. Since Islam was the prevalent religion, they followed their new faith and adapted to the local environment. A remote village in Kerala's Malappuram district is a mystery to researchers. This village has the largest number of twins in the country. According to estimates, there are at least 400 pairs of twins in the village that has a population of 2,000 families. While the national average of twin births is not more than 9 in 1,000 births, in Kodini, the number is as high as 45 in 1,000 births. The Barwan Kala village is called as the village of bachelors because for over 50 years no one has gotten married in this village. And the reason is shocking. It is the lack of infrastructure and amenities that no one sends their daughter into this village. Mollinong, located in Meghalaya, is called God's own garden and it has enough reasons for that. It was awarded the title of cleanest village in Asia by Discover India in 2003. From a full 100% literacy rate to a highly progressive scenario for women, this village has struck all the right chords. most bizarre of them all, the people of Rongdoi village organize frog weddings as they think it is responsible for rainfall. It is for them to please the god of rain. Hundreds of village folk, young and old, boys and girls, gather at Rongdoi village till late night to witness the unconventional marriage. There is a mythological belief among Hindus that if wild frogs caught by people are married off with Vedic rites and traditional marriage rituals, just like human beings, it can help bring rainfall in the coming days. The Korai village in Maharashtra is where everyone speaks in Portuguese. Seems unreal, right? But it's true. You will be greeted in Portuguese, even the names are Portuguese, and people eat Portuguese food. You can call it mini Brazil in India. Though it was built by Portuguese, it has been around for hundreds of years to keep the heritage alive. Well, call it bizarre or call it unreal. You can't deny the fact that our country has so much to offer in terms of uniqueness and culture. Well, it's no
So was that not very interesting? So if you are looking at there was so much scope for segmentation of market, maybe thinking it from the geographical point of view, and you can apply whatever that we saw in that video with the other bases also. When it comes to psychographic, what is the attitude people have towards snake, what is the lifestyle they have along with snake, probably like no, it explores and gives you opportunities for a lot for marketer. Or if we look at the other way, from the culture point of view, where frog weddings happen, and imagine a village where you think that you cannot have gadgets being sold, there is a fully enabled wi-fi in that particular um, village. So these kind of diversity in the market can be like no divided and grouped accordingly for segmentation purposes. So based on this is what we have been discussing: geographic segmentation. You are dividing the market based on the geographical areas on any basis. And when you take the demographic segmentation, you are dividing based on age, family size, gender, income, occupation, education. One example of family size is like no, when the packaging is being done, developing products and its packaging, why should we have a packets of family size package, especially with cereals we see, or with Maggie we see a family packet coming up? Because based on the demographic characteristics, see, that will be available in the supermarkets probably in a city like cities. Whereas if you go for a very kind of a rural area, whereas you just get a 5 rupee packets, 5 rupees packets or a 10 rupees packet sometimes, right? Because the usage pattern and so many other things also differ based on their demographic characteristics. And not necessarily, one point to be clarified here is not necessarily market segmentation has to be done only on basis. Sometimes you will combine this demography along with geographic, demographic with psychographic, especially this demographic characteristics, no, that can be combined with any other basis to develop market segmentation and target it accordingly. So again on the psychographic, if you take psychographic, buyers are being divided into different groups based on their personality, lifestyle, attitude, because each of them will exhibit a different psychographic profile. So that is why we have a psychographic segmentation. And also on the socio-economic segmentation, when I take socio-economic segmentation, that is like based on education, income, and occupation. All these three combinations will decide your socio-economic condition. And when we talk about psych behavioral segmentation, which is based on the occasion, benefits, user status, loyal status, attitude, that will decide your behavioral segmentation. So I will give you maybe a few examples for this. If you take gender, when it comes to demographic characteristics, your skincare segment is dependent on gender, right? Either it's for male or female. And your two wheeler, whatever, again, that can be based on your demographic characteristics, gender. It can be also based on income and occupation, also. And based on age, age is also a very important classification under demographic characteristics. So if you look at based on age, say for example, if you want to sell some insurances, depending on which age only you will be able to sell insurances. Or if you want to promote a product regarding any medical test or medical checkups, that also will be promoted according to your age. So that's one example which I want to give. And if you take the examples for socio-economic classification, or like no psychographic characteristics, your lifestyle, what is your lifestyle you have, whether you are a person by nature, group of people who will be very interested to travel, go for holidays, stay in resorts, or you are so much interested in tourism. Based on the lifestyle that you have or the attitude that you have, decides your psychographic segmentation. And similarly, coming back to your occasions on your behavioral segmentation, whether it is going to be used only during special occasions or regular occasions, uh, what will be the response of the customer, and the benefits that they get. Like, for example, if shampoo is very familiar in the market for hair care, in the hair care segment, but if you take a very specifically a hair care shampoo like anti dandruff shampoo, or a hair, like no um, anti hair fall shampoo, that is the benefit that they get of it. So what is the response? So if people, there are like minded people who are looking forward for anti hair fall shampoo or anti dandruff shampoo, they are grouped into this particular category. And again, we can talk about the usage rate, how much they use it, whether they use it low, medium, or whether they use it heavy. So what is the usage rate? What is the loyal status you have? See, some of them are very loyal to the particular product, that they don't buy any other brand if they don't get the particular product. So how much of the response is in terms of loyalty? So these all is the, again, the basis of your market segmentation. So with this, we will move. Why is it necessary for us, or what are the benefits that we get with the market segmentation? Very importantly, market segmentation is your proper choice of your target market. We have a group of small markets, homogeneous characteristics has been defined. Now, every group has its own characteristics. So, if you have divided the entire market into 10 particular groups, a company will not be serving all the 10 particular groups. The company will try to satisfy only one particular group or two or three particular groups. Say, if I take again the example of Horlicks, if I'm going to promote the product of Horlicks for toddlers, junior Horlicks. Where will I go and promote? I have to promote it among the moms, or like no, either moms or the father, like no, whoever is going to be the purchase decision maker. Most probably, in case of a health drink for a toddler, it comes to the mom's responsibility. So I'm going to promote the junior Horlicks to the moms who have toddlers of that particular age group. So how will I know that is my right target market? Only when I classified, if I am going to find out a group of people who has toddlers, then only I'll be able to send advertisements or promote advertisements for that particular uh, for the product in that particular group. If I'm going to give an ad to everyone, I don't know how much it is going to helpful to me. It may be helpful to me, but I have to reach the target market. So actually, again, I'm telling you, so if you have an entire market, you have divided it into 10 groups. So in this 10 groups, you are finding one particular group, which group is characteristics of moms who have toddlers. and you want to promote your Horlicks toddlers to only to this particular, your junior Horlicks to only to this particular group. Why are you targeting to this one particular group? Then only you will be able to, whatever messages the company want to communicate will reach that particular target market. So it's a proper choice of target market. Only after dividing you will know which is your target market which you are going to catering to. Then tapping a particular market, as I told you, you will be able to send any communication to that particular group of people, and it will make you more efficient and economic marketing efforts. Why do we say efficient and economic? Is, say if you're going to send some promotions to everyone, to the entire market, but your group is somewhere away, then it will be meaningless. You 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 can spend only on that particular group of people to whom your advertisements has to reach. So it gives you an efficient and economic marketing efforts if you have done a segmentation. And obviously when your promotional expenses and other things is going to come down, what happens? The benefit goes to the customer. So these are few benefits of market segmentation. The last one which we will talk about today is effective market segmentation. It has to be substantial in scope. Substantial in scope, why do we say is, the segments may be large and profitable enough to serve, but what should happen is you should have at least like no a good handful of customers with you to whom you can serve. If there's only one customer and if you're going to take so much of it, with individual marketing, it may be okay. But there should be some cost benefit analysis that you must be able to do. So there is some substantial amount of customers or like no whom you can have for your particular market. It should be measurable in terms of what is the size of the market, whether there is a purchasing power of the in that particular group. So all this has to be measurable. Then accessible to the market, the segments can be effectively reached and served. If you're not able to access there, there's a market, you have produced a product. If you're not able to reach them, then there is no use at all. And it should be representative in nature. Why do we say representative in nature? Is we see all this group of people is going to have a common characteristics. So meaning that each one is representing that particular group, and you must be able to see a growth in the market. Then only a segmentation will be effective. So that is why we say there should be a growth rate, and we also say there should be a response rate. A response rate in the sense, uh, when you give a product, promote a particular product in that particular market, there should be some response that you must be coming up. One reason maybe they don't have the purchasing power. That is why we even said like the purchasing power is one important aspect of the measurable. So these are the few criterias for making these market segmentation. I think I have done it very elaborately. I hope this session was useful to you understand market segmentation. Thank you.